Imagine a community, a village of children between the ages of 5 and, let's say, 8 or 9 years of age, right? And these children have their parents, but it's basically the focus of the village is the children. They got their parents, and some of them have single parents, and some of them have mother and father, but male and female. And an armed force of military-type persons move into that village of children with M1 rifles or AK-47s or M15s or AR-15s. These soldiers that move, these personnel that moves into that community are strapped with military garb, they have helmets, some of them have armored vehicles, and they come into this village of peaceful little children. And they start indiscriminately killing the children, arresting their parents, tearing down their playhouses and their swings. And the ones that they don't kill, they tell them that they are orphans and non-existent, and that the reason why they did this is because they were believers in the Word of God. They believed the Bible, the Old Testament. They think that prophet Moses was a true prophet of God. They believe that God actually told Moses how he created the heavens and the earth, and the whole process from the let there be light to let there be man, let us make man in our own image and our likeness. And because of that, that's why their parents had to be killed, and some of them had to be killed. And for them, these soldiers in these military garbs, these AK-47s, these AR-15s, will now take these children, as young as they are, and teach them what God or what Moses said that God said to him about creation, about let there be light, about man, about woman, about creation, about the Sabbath day, is all up in the air. It's not true. That's what these military types that would take over that beautiful village of children. It isn't true. You can choose whatever desire of life or whatever. You can even choose whatever day you want to worship on, but you don't have to follow that stuff that Moses said there in that Bible called the Old Testament, Genesis, the book of Leviticus, etc. And the children have no defenses. They have so they get caught up in this whole process. Well, right now, my friends, that's what's happening in America. And I want to ask you today to help me save the children from the lesbians, the bisexuals, the gays, the trannies, and the queers, because they have moved in on the American children and psyche and into the playground of the schools of America. And they're telling the children that what Moses wrote in Genesis chapter 1 about the sixth-day creation, about man and woman, is not true, that it's a lie, that they can be anything they want to be, notwithstanding they are born with a specific amount of equipment, and every now and then you'll get some freak that'll show up in the discourse about sexuality, homosexuality in particular, and say, well, they know of somebody born with two genitals. Well, that's about sex saying I know two people born with two heads. If that did happen, obviously it's some sort of freak. It ain't normality if somebody's born with both genitals. I don't believe it. I think it's all a lie. But having said that, I want to ask you to help me because the children are being invaded. You know, when I look at what happened in Bucha, Ukraine, just northwest of Kiev the other day, or southwest of Kiev, or what's happening in Mariupol, and how the Russians are going in with their doctrine, and they're going in to indoctrinate the people, and they're killing and bombing and destroying, and they're riding children on the trucks to churches and the schoolhouses, and yet they're dropping the LGBTQ bombs, they're dropping the tranny bombs, they're dropping the queer bombs, they're dropping the gay bombs, they're dropping the bisexual bombs, they're dropping the lesbian bombs all over Ukraine, and it's leaving utter destruction. Now, a couple of people are trying to push back. but they're leaving utter destruction. And a lot of people are leaving because they don't want to become LGBTQ. And so you got people like Governor Ron DeSantis down in Florida who's pushing back. You got others. And we need to join with Governor Ron DeSantis in the pushing back of the Russian soldiers because they want to do to Florida, they want to do to Disney World, they want to do to the school system in Florida, what they've done in Bucha, what they've done in Mariupol, and what they've done all over the Ukraine with their doctrine. And I want to ask you to help me save the children. Now, I got a little bit of a video I want you to watch, put up by one of these people from CNN. And I'm going to ask the engineer to leave my mic open because this news, CNN, oh, man, I'll tell you. The stuff that they spread, they're going to have to answer to God for all of this stuff that they do. And they are the purveyors anyway, Mr. Engineer, go ahead and roll that clip of this fella talking there to this tranny.
There is an ugly history in the United States of portraying gays, lesbians, transgender people as perverts, as predators who are preying on children. And when I see some of the coverage in the last week, seems to me they are just repeating an ugly history.
Good morning, Brian. Yeah, it's exasperating.
Mr. Engineer, the person you see with lipstick and pink blouse. Well, first I said, well, first I was looking at it, I said, well, this woman, or maybe she's gay, or maybe she's a lesbian, I don't know. But doggone, the voice was heavier than Brian Stelter. Back it up just a little bit, Mr. Can you hack it up just a little bit? So, well, my God, what a voice. And by the way, Brian Stelter fed right into what I was just saying, that, Brian Stelter for the last, since the universe has been in place in every place where man walk upright on earth, all the world has condemned lesbians, gays, bisexuals, trannies, and queers. The whole world. It was just now in the last 12 years since Barack Hussein, the long-legged Mac Daddy Obama, now the world is trying to push back. Now, even, people like Rock Hudson, right, was gay, and Bruce Jenner was gay, but Obama, well, Rock Hudson, well, he went on, But everybody said, well, we keep this in the closet. Don't be bringing this stuff out in the world. Everybody knows this is wrong. The whole world for 10,000 years said, everybody knows this is wrong. That's a sexual behavior if you want to get into it, all right. I'm not condoning it, by the way. But don't try to tell the world that is right. And one thing you don't want to do is try to convince children. And by the way, let me say this. The reason why they're going after these 5-year-olds, because it's because if they can raise up a brood of children, teaching them at 5 years of age, that, this is right, then the whole world, about the next generation, everybody will be going along with it. But, I consider what they're doing actually is sexual molestation. But what I want to do is I want you to hear the voice of this person. Look, is that Bruce Jenner? Is that Bruce Jenner's cousin? If not, I think Bruce Jenner ought to marry whoever this is. Go ahead, Ms. Engineer.
Who are preying on children. And when I see some of the coverage in the last week, seems to me they are just repeating an ugly history.
Good morning, Brian. Yeah, it's exasperating to watch all this go down. I can't believe that it's 2022 and we're still seeing LGBTQ families be framed as predatory or as diversive or I would say as almost perverted. I mean, that seems to be the message to millions of LGBTQ families by the actions of Governor DeSantis right now. And it's heartbreaking to watch because these are families who already struggle to get by day to day in the public square and now have their own government going after them just for existing.
But when you hear the framing on the right, this is just about parents' rights. It's just about parents' rights. What does that get wrong? What's wrong with that?
I think it's insulting to the parents of Florida. It says to the parents of Florida that we can't talk about LGBTQ families without talking about sex. And it is this very strange need by Governor DeSantis and the Republican Party of Florida to, I would say, sexualize LGBTQ families in a way that you would never see done to non-LGBTQ families. I have so many friends who are LGBTQ parents or parents of LGBTQ children, and they are shocked and exasperated by what's going on right now. They don't feel that they can be in schools or their communities without seeing this kind of backlash from conservative lawmakers, and it's really unfortunate to watch.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Jim, hold it right. I want to say we need to support Governor DeSantis of Florida. And I think governors and mayors and congresspersons and senators all over America ought to throw their weight and support behind him because he's going to have to fight Disney as well. But let me ask you a question. I have the greatest respect for Mike Tyson. I do. I like Mike. I like Mike Tyson. I do. And when that woman accused Mike Tyson of trying to rape her or whatever it is, that was so wrong. That was so wrong. And to send that man to jail, send on Iron Mike to jail, I said, wow, heartbroken. I like Mike Tyson. I think he's one of the greats. I do. Muhammad Ali is my great. I got to take my hat off to him. I like Sugar Ray Robinson as well. I like Floyd Patterson. If you go back that far, y'all may not know about him. But Mike Tyson, I like Mike. But let me ask you a question, Brian Stelter. You what have we done there? What if I gave a bunch of maybe 12 to 17 fifth grade, five-year-old girls and boys, put them in a classroom, and I brought Mike Tyson in to talk to them about whatever sexual organ they were born with. He would talk to the boys, well, you got a penis, but that don't mean nothing. That don't identify you. You're not identified by your penis. And he say, would you want Mike Tyson talking to the 5-year-old girls about, you got a vagina, but that don't make you a woman. It don't make you a girl. That does not identify you. Do not be deceived by the characteristics of your flesh. That is just something that happened to be there, but it has nothing to do with what you want to choose. Would you want Mike Tyson to have that kind of lecture with a bunch of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds? Would you want Mike Tyson to have that kind of lecture? Would you? Would you? Brian Stelter, would you want that? Would you want Mike Tyson to have? I don't know if he got any children. I don't know what Brian Stelter is or ain't. But the other thing is that the Governor DeSantis is not going to have to fight Walt Disney World because Disney has now stood up and said, the LGBTQ, the lesbian, the gays, the bisexual, the trannies and the queers that are part of the makeup of what happened in Disney World are saying, stand up and speak out against the government. So they got a great big fight going on down there in Florida now because, Orlando's the biggest Disney World spot. That thing is bigger than New York, twice as big as New York. Let me say this as well. I want to say to the people of Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, I know there are gangs down there in your country, and you want to get your sons and daughters out there, and you want to come to America for a better life. I'm telling you, the Biden administration is going to get rid of Title 42 because he can bring more of these straight, if you will, Latino people from Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Mexico, and they're going to turn them all gay. And so I know you want to get away from the fighting. I'll say a special prayer, Lord, stop all the gangs in Nicaragua and all the killings and shooting and drug dealing in El Salvador and Guatemala and Mexico and everything. But y'all keep your children. I'm telling you, don't send your children to America. I'm telling you, don't send your children to America. And I'm going to say all y'all women leaving leaving Ukraine, you women leaving your husbands. So you women, obviously, y'all are straight. Nearly 4 million straight women and straight children are leaving the fighting in Ukraine, right? It look like y'all straight because you got children and you say you're married, you got a husband. So y'all are straight. Ain't none of this lesbian, none of this gay and bisexual and tranny and queers getting on them trains and getting out of Kiev and every place. Don't come to America. I know you want to look. I know you look, but don't go somewhere Don't go to Finland, Sweden, and Norway either, and don't go to England. And I don't know where to tell you to go, but Lord have mercy, don't come to America, because you come to America, they're gonna teach your little child that you were born with a penis, and but it don't mean nothing. It don't identify you. You can, it's wild. I can tell you. And finally, I'm watching these parents sitting there, they're knowing that this is what's happening in public schools all across America now. The curriculum is not the ABCs, the 1 through 3s of building blocks, the little blocks children play with. And no. They jump right into, your penis don't identify you, your vagina. I mean, they're talking to a 5-year-old. You're talking to a 5-year-old, and that is across America, and yet parents are still sitting there. I see people walking by here, going to these public schools with their children every day. Grandmama, come over here, kiss grandpa. Grandmama, come over here, kiss grandpa. No, and talking about they love Jesus. Oh, I'm saved, sanctified, blood washed, fire baptized, talking in tongues. But yet, they let their grandchildren go to these schools where the teachers tell them that your penis don't identify you and your vagina don't. And halabashanda, can't wait till Lord have mercy. I'm better than blessed and highly favored. But yet, they send their children to these public schools. Grandma, grandpa, and mama and daddy too, and great-grandma and great-grandpa, because they're having them younger and younger these days. I find it amazing that, they are not protecting the children. They're not protecting. And grandma, suppose you had to go to a school, because when you went, you got taught the ABCs, building block. Imagine grandma, grandpa, hey, grandpa, imagine when you went to school, you were in the kindergarten, a teacher came up to you the first day and told you your penis don't identify you. Where would you be today? You'd be crazy as hell. And yet you let your grandchildren, I don't understand y'all. So, well, I got to send them somewhere. No, you don't. Homeschool them. Or you can put them in school at ATLAH. We have an online ministry that's top of the class. I can educate your children in California and in Florida right now from our auspices right here in New York City. We can do it. Homeschool. But let's see what's going to happen. This anti-Bible, this invasion by the gays, the queers, the trannies, the bisexual, the lesbians is off the chain. But I'm here. I'm James A. Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant, and I will not let this go forward. And we're going to stop it here. That's right.